again to another webisode of MakeSomethingHappen.TV. I'm your host, Audrey Wiggins, and I'm here with Dr. Elaine Richardson, fondly known as Dr. E. And Dr. E, I want you to just go ahead and give us, first of all, thank you. I'm humbled, grateful that you took the time out of your busy schedule to come here. I know you don't live in Cleveland any longer, and you're here. And just really appreciate you. We saw your fantastic, your phenomenal production, your one-woman show. It's called the One-Woman Show. And I just want to tell the audience a little bit about that. And then we're just going to just zero in on your life. You've made a big difference in the community, and that's what this program is all about. It's inspiring and empowering. So, Dr. E, you take it away.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for coming last night.
Yes.
Having me on your show. It really means a lot to me.
Awesome.
And I don't like to say that I don't live in Cleveland,
okay.
even though you know.
Because you're what, a scarab?
That's right. I'm an East Tech scarab, a Viking, Cleveland State, Cleveland, my land.
Yes.
So Cleveland is home for me. It's really home for me. Ohio, you know.
Yes.
I'm an Ohio girl. But my one-woman show is based on excerpts from my book. My friend Dr. Mary Weems actually crafted the one-woman play, and I kind of embellish it a little bit and add some storytelling and music and monologues, and it's been going really well so far, so thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Fantastic. Now, the story, the monologue, rather, based on your book, From PhD to PhD.
Yeah.
Now, your story is one of trial and triumph.
Yes, it is.
Transition,
yes, it is.
And you stayed the course, and there was a common thread among that whole thing, which was your mother.
Yeah.
Yes, your mom, just praying for you, just believing in you.
Believing in me when I didn't believe in myself.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I kept seemed like falling in every hole and trap that there was to fall in for a poor black girl in the hood. I mean, from being raped at 13 to being turned out to prostitution at 13 to having an abortion, you know, being turned out, having low self-esteem and just looking for love in all the wrong places and looking for acceptance and just, you know, not really realizing the consequences and even my own self-worth. Yes. I didn't realize my own self-worth, so it led to just a downward spiral.
Absolutely. Now, within that, you've gone through your journey, and something that the dean had mentioned last night about how education saved your life and the value of education being more than the financial piece of it.
Oh, of course.
And you know how that happened for you, going to school. So actually you said 13, you know, being a prostitute at 13 years old. This is part of the human trafficking, except that you weren't abducted into that into the lifestyle, into the streets.
Right.
But explain that a little bit of that journey, and it was just awesome how you did the monologue. I know we'll be able to look at that and make sure you get her book, because no matter what lifestyle you found yourself in, this book and her life story is really catapult us to the next level, and the level where we're meant to be and living our lives on purpose.
Well, after I had an abortion, after I was raped, I was looking for acceptance, and the first guy that showed me any attention, he just so happened to be a pimp. He was 17, I was 13, and he had an older woman that worked for him. And eventually, you know, he introduced me to what he did in the streets. And eventually, he had his older woman to show me how to work the streets for him. And that's how it all started. You know, of course, I was not doing well in school. My mom didn't know what was wrong with me. And it partially is about not getting counseling for that abortion. Okay. You know, when you go through trauma and you don't do anything about it, that trauma is still there. That's and it's just waiting. And so I didn't know why I was attracted to, you know, abuse. I didn't even know I was going to be abused by this older guy. But once I got involved with him, I felt like I couldn't get out of it. And eventually, though, he went to prison, and I was able to graduate from Central Junior High School and then from East Tech. But had he not gone to prison, though, I don't know,
Right.
because I was really just, a young teenage girl in love with the older guy, and I felt like I had to stay with him.
Yes.
Regardless of whether he beat me, whether I was, whatever. It was like, he was my man.
Right, exactly. And is that kind of the scenario, though, whether it was being caught up with a pimp or whatever the relationship, with someone that gives us, we find our self-esteem externally in someone else.
Okay.
And so we cling, and then
Yes.
so we stay, in that
Yes.
abusive situation,
Yes.
with a split personality almost.
Yes. Yes.
Want to leave, but want to stay because it's the part that feels good. We want more of that. We want more of that, and we'll take whatever else comes along with that.
And when you've not had anything other than that, you know what I mean? You don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's normal.
And, so one of the themes in the book is, I think I problematize or look at education in a lot of different ways. So learning who I was a big part of my healing. Because when you don't really know who you are, when you're just accepting what other people, how other people choose to define you, you have to define yourself and figure out who you are.
Right.
And it took me a long time to be able to do that. So it was education in the sense of, going back to school and graduating from Cleveland State, but it was also education about myself as a black woman, as a black girl, my history, all of that.
Yes.
And even learning how to survive on the streets, that's education as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Street knowledge, some of which can save your life too. And a lot of it transfers to the official education sites. So it was just a blessing that the person who ultimately mentored me, which was Geneva Smitherman, she was able to draw on my street knowledge to help me hook into what I needed to do, that drive and determination and, that fearlessness that you have to have in the streets. You have to have it in the academy as well. So never forget your street knowledge because you need it, in other domains as well.
Yes, absolutely. So you went on, you graduated from junior high school.
Yes.
You went to college.
Yes.
You kind of, got off track there a little bit, but because I know, this is just a short interview, and definitely, when we read the book and we see your show again, because I know you're going to produce that again, we'll get all the juice, all the good details out of that. But when education saved your life and you went back, just, give a quick scenario, and there's people, we need a support system. And sometimes we don't know, we can't maybe reach out, but somebody may reach into us, and then later, when we're ready.
Yes. Well, I had, was in a cycle of going to jail and being on the streets and, getting high and going in and out of treatment and in and out of my mom's house and not being able to take care of my daughter. But one day when I was getting out of jail, I saw a flyer about this program, and it was called Project Second Chance. And it was for sexually exploited women and girls. And it was run by a professor at Cleveland State University, Dr. Andrew Edwards.
Yes, yes.
And he just never gave up on me either, and I wasn't ready when I first went, He would tell me things like, you got to stop getting high. You got to stop seeing your child's father, who was my pimp. You can't go back in the streets anymore. And I was addicted to the whole lifestyle, not just the drugs. By that time, that was my life. And, I just had to get to a low point where they just took me by the hand and said, we'll help you. And they saved my life, and they helped me save my children's lives. And, it just, one day at a time, it seemed like God just kept putting different people in my path that, helped me.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of help, a lot of help.
And so from there you went on, you got a bachelor's, was it two masters?
No, just
no.
one.
Okay.
Just one.
That's
Don't
what
speak
said.
that second master's.
I know that's right. I know that's right. It's 2 degrees from a BA and a master's. And you went on to Michigan, and you're a PhD. So when we call you Dr. E, we're talking about a real professor here. Where you're at now? You're at Ohio State University.
I'm a professor in the College of Education. Yeah.
You're a tenured professor. Now tell people what that really means. That's phenomenal. The time frame that you did that.
Oh wow. Well, it just seemed like once I when I went back to school that second time, I was desperate to be there. So, you know, I just did what I had to do to stay. I took advantage of every kind of tutoring, anybody that has something positive to contribute to my journey. You know, I took advantage of it. You know, so like you said, I got my BA, the master's, and then the PhD. I just went straight through because I knew if I stopped, if I got a job or any of that, you know, that I might not finish. So I was like, I'm gonna just stay on this road. And it was something, you know, especially getting that PhD. It's really a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But, you know, it was like there's no turning back. Once you get to that point, you just got to go through with whatever it is. The long nights in the library.
Yes, and that's one of your strengths, though, isn't it? Even when you were in the streets, your lifestyle, you had a tenacity for whatever that is. So you just turned that, you know, in a different direction.
Turned it in a different direction, and became an assistant professor at the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
And then I got offered a job at Penn State, so I taught there for 9 years. And I was promoted to associate professor. You have to publish books, you know, in your field to be an associate professor.
Okay.
And then I applied for a job at the Ohio State University. So I always wanted to come back home. I always wanted to come back home to Ohio.
Okay.
And so, you know, God put somebody in my life to, you know, present me to Ohio State University, and they made me a full professor in the College of Education.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you're
sometimes I can't believe it. I can't believe it myself.
Yeah, just let's start the little pinch game going on. But you're still part of Cleveland State too. We have to clamor.
Oh, that's right.
Part of your journey, as you said. So again, I don't know if there's any closing thoughts that you want to give our audience.
Definitely. Well, I want to just let you know that everybody has worth. I feel like God has deposited something in everybody, and that everybody is worth saving. So don't give up on family members and friends, people that you see that you might have grown up with, or you know, whatever, and you feel like they're written off or there's no coming back. People sometimes they can't believe in themselves, but if you believe in them and you try to help them, reach out to them and be there for them, I think it makes a difference in people's lives. Everybody's life is worth saving.
We want to thank you again, Dr. E, for coming by. And,
thank you.
God bless you as you continue your journey.
Thank you.
There are a lot of people say about that. We want to depend on. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm going to let the closing words be Dr. E. So thank you so much. We'll see you again next week.